Nicky DePaola grew up in Pittsburgh, California, a small town 40 miles east of San Francisco. In the DePaola household, hearing Frank Sinatra and many other classic singers could be heard daily playing on the family record player. As a young boy, Nicky listened with a keen ear, not realizing at the time how much music would play such an important role in his life. It would be many more years into the future before Nicky would realize just how talented he would become as a singer. Nicky was a natural-born athlete. In his formative years, Nicky loved sports and became one of the fastest track runners in the history of Pittsburgh High School. Nicky spent the next few years excelling in track and football. It wasn't long after a serious football injury sidelined Nicky that his love of music stirred up in his spirit. It was that period in his life that he realized his destiny. Memories of hearing all of those great singers from his early years motivated Nicky to take a few music courses in college. Nicky discovered that he had a good but raw singing voice. With encouragement and coaching from some of his instructors, he honed his talent well enough to sing at his first public gig, a nightclub. His very first song was Heartbreak Hotel. The crowd went wild, and the rest is history.
When he was young, he was shy. I didn't even know he sang. One time my girlfriend said, "Does he sing?" I said, "I don't know, he must sing in the shower." I never heard him sing. And then he came out and started singing. And he's not shy at all. When he's on stage, he's got the persona and the whatever, and he handles himself well. He sang How Great Thou Art, and I didn't know he could sing spiritual songs, and he did a beautiful job.
And I just pursued everything. And I had a wonderful teacher. I remember her name was Anita Mixon, and she really inspired me to say, you have what it takes, but you need to polish yourself. I was 23 years old. Of course, now that I'm a little older than that, I look back and I thought I was it then. There's so much to learn, as we always continue to learn as entertainers. But, looking back, the early years of playing in nightclubs with, I remember a wonderful guy named Brett Bloomfield from Antioch. He ended up playing with Starship. He's a bass player. Wonderful guy. First time I ever got on stage, he got me at this club in Antioch and got me up there, and I did a couple Elvis songs and brought the house down. And he's like, "Bro, you could sing for a living if you wanted to." And he told me that. And he ended up being really successful as a musician. And a wonderful guy. He's in Chicago now. His name is Brett Bloomfield. I love him. But he got me really inspired to say, you could do this if you want.
He brings a lot of joy. Music brings joy to your heart, and I think that that's what he brings to all the people out here, is he just brings back memories, a lot of good memories. And Pittsburgh is a real tight network community. We're old school, so he brings a lot of old school back, and people love that.
Well, growing up, in the 70s, of course, probably still one of the most stellar decades of music, from rock and roll to R&B to probably the most Hall of Famers and Rock and Roll Hall of Famers come out of the 70s, the bands, the artists themselves. But my mother played Frank Sinatra constantly, so that was an influence. And I love Elvis Presley. I got to see Elvis and Frank, actually. Shook Frank's hand in 1988 at Bally's Reno. I was the first guy he came to, and the show was over. I wish I had a picture of that. That would be it. That was a tremendous moment for me. I got it in my head, but seeing Elvis really inspired me too. And all those songs from like that 50-year span, there's thousands of them. And then that's what I focus on, what I love. Like my grandfather Joe Capetto used to tell me, if you could do one thing great instead of a lot of things mediocre, that's good. So I try to do one thing great. And I think my blessing, I'm not gonna say my greatness, but my blessing, because the more I do it, the more people ask me, the number one question I get is, how do you remember all the words to all the songs? And that is a gift. I know over 700 songs that I could just go to and know all the words. I don't think about it, but I've learned them probably from 6 years old to 16. And then when you learn something young, I believe it stays with you. And of course, like Michael Jordan, of course, I always revert to these athletes metaphorically. No matter how great you are, you still want to work out and be the best and try. And that's what I do too. A lot of my friends, my peers will tell you that I'm one of the hardest working people around, and I'm proud of that reputation.
He's been doing this for 26 years, and he's actually already made it in my eyes, but I wish him all the best. His passion for music is that he's very dedicated to what he does, and he very much so puts all of his heart into it.
Music brings people together, and it's like a universal language. And I played in front of many different cultures and diverse audiences, and when I sing a song, they all come together. And that's where I find my inspiration from, just realizing that we're all here together for this short trip, so let's just enjoy what we got. Like Marvin Gaye said, you know, since we got to be here, let's live, you know? I love you.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. I wanna spend my life with you. Let me say that since, baby, since we've been together.
If Nicky brought it into someone's living room, he's going to give it the same amount of passion, the same amount of excellence as he's going to give it today. So no matter if he's, you know, singing at the national anthem at an A's game, or if he's at a lounge, singing at a restaurant, at a big venue, it's always the same. Nicky always gives it 110%. I just want to say that Nicky is an amazing person. He's got more passion in his little pinky than most people I know have in their whole body. Awesome. Guy leans on God, and that's the same thing I do, and that's what I love about Nicky.
I realize that the more people there are looking at me, the better I am. And you can be vulnerable, but if you have, you know, confidence in yourself and you're prepared, the vulnerability could turn into sensational outcome. And that's what I try to do every time I take the stage.
'Cause I'm your vehicle, baby. Take over, baby.
I mean, I'm a very passionate individual, and I try to let people feel what I'm feeling. I'm not cocky or egotistical at all, and that's one thing that the band that we just worked with said about me. I was very humble and gracious, and I love those words because I am. I'm genuine. And just like one of my heroes, Muhammad Ali, if you're not confident, you don't believe in yourself, and no one's going to believe in you. And the word he always said, he was supremely confident. Of course, that was a different era, a different time, and people thought he was cocky, but he's the greatest of all time. And like Reggie Jackson, too, was born the same day as me, actually, May 18th. Sorry, I touched the mic there. He always said, it ain't bragging if you do it. And, you know, when you do something, but some people don't want to hear, like Barry Sanders, who I admire, too, just do it. Act like you've been there before. But entertainment, music is like athleticism. It's like sports. And when you score, you want to celebrate. You know, and that's how I am. And every note is a celebration because I'm just grateful that I have the talent to do what I love to do.
I love that he's so determined and he's so passionate about what he does with his music, and it really inspires me to just do what I want to do. And I love that he's a positive influence. He's so down to earth and he's really true to himself. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, give us some blues, Pittsburgh. You act like you wanna listen when I'm talking to you. You think you ought to do, baby, anything you wanna do. You must be crazy, baby. You just gotta be out of your mind. As long as I'm paying the bills, I'm paying the cost to be a boss.
This project right here, I'm still paying for it. This is one of my favorite projects because I went to Capitol Records and made Uptown Mood. Jerry Stucker produced it, and it was just a great project from some standards to a few contemporary Sam Cooke 60s songs. But the best part of that was not just being in the building itself, the historical Capitol Records building, but Jerry got one of the most brilliant musicians anywhere, Mr. Ernie Watts, who plays saxophone, of course, and Grammy winner, Rolling Stones, The Tonight Show. Ernie Watts has been all over the place. For those of you who don't know who Ernie Watts is, I didn't know, to be honest with you. And I'm glad I didn't know at the time because I probably would have been a little intimidated, but he was such a wonderful man, and he did a tremendous job on Uptown Mood. As a recording artist, my first CD was produced in 1996, and I've done 6 projects in the last 15 years. And again, that can be very intricate, very detailed, and you have to be on, you know, right now. They might pause and then say, okay, hit that note again, which is hard to do, because I prefer being a live performer. But of course, people want to hear what you recorded in the studio also, but it really isn't, it's not easy. People, you know, think being an entertainer is not a real job. I've heard that my whole life, but now after 26 years, people who have real jobs, some of my friends, in fact, a Pittsburgh friend, I won't say his name, but he wouldn't get embarrassed, but the other night he told me, this guy's spreading 15 minutes of fame over 30 years. I go, you know, trying to be funny, but that's a compliment, you know, and it really is, because I'm just trying to do what I love to do, and people are still buying my CDs, they still come out to see me, and again, like even Sinatra himself said, there's nothing like singing to live people. It's the best feeling in the world, and most entertainers will tell you that. I mean, some of them prefer to do studio work instead of be live, but you have to do both if you're successful, and you go on tour and you're selling your product, but I would much rather be singing in front of thousands of people on a daily basis. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, I could work 300 dates a year easy, have 65 days off, you know, spread them out. But there's nothing like singing to live people. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do.
One more time. A stranger in the black sedan, won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures, Candy, I'm a lovable man, I can take you to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby, I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. I'm your vehicle, woman, cause by now I'm sure you know that I love you, I need you, I want you, got to have your child. Great God in heaven, you know I love you.